Hey Mom and Dad. Okay, this video is going to be a tutorial of how to use the kettlebell, a lot of exercises. So I've got 4 groups of exercises here. So the first one will be full body, and then we'll do legs, and then we'll do arms, and then the 4th one will be abs and back. So form is super important, so I'm going to focus a lot on form. The first one, full body, is the swing. So basic swing, you grab your kettlebell and you squat down. Now the squatting form is super important. You want your shoulders to be back. You want your head to be above your center of gravity like this. You don't want to be hunching forward, right? No hunch back, okay? And you're gonna swing out and watch, see how my legs pump? I'm doing a squat each time, okay? Looking forward, I'm about shoulder width apart, a little bit farther than shoulder width apart, and I'm squatting, and I'm keeping my chest up and out, okay? I'm not hunching over like this, okay? I'm not like this. My shoulders are back, and I'm looking forward. And my back, if anything, is arched, chest out. Some variations you can do on this. You can do, that's just the regular swing. You can do one-handed swing, okay? Switching every time. If you want to do it like that. You can do American swing where you go all the way up, but you got to keep your balance on this one. You don't want to go woo, right? You can go up on your toes. That one you really got to keep your balance, but that'll exercise your calves as well. But the basic swing is just up to chest height, like so. And you're doing a squat each time, that's why it's a full body. Okay, the next one is a squat with a high pull. This is another full body exercise. It's the same squatting motion from the side, but you're holding your kettlebell and you come up and then you do a high pull and back down. Notice the form, okay? Especially with this one, when you go down, it's hard for me to do bad form now because I'm so good. You don't want to slump, right? So the best way to keep good form is to look up with your head and just keep your shoulders back. You don't want to round your back. You want it to be arched like this. Okay? So up and down like that. And when you come up, you should make a V. Okay? Shoulders high. Squat, up. Squat, up. Not too many variations you can do on this one. I guess you could do it one-handed. I do that. I've done that a couple of times. One-handed, other side. But the basic one is two-handed squat with a high pull. This is actually 2 moves. That's why it's called squat with a high pull. So the first move is this. Okay, second move is this. Okay, next one is a curl, squat curl press. So this one you're gonna hold onto your kettlebell like this, kind of hook your thumbs in. Gonna squat down. Okay, good form again, right? You don't slump, squat, and then you're gonna do a curl. Concentrate on the biceps. Okay, squat, curl, go back up, and then overhead press. Back down, curl, stay in the squat until your curl is done. Back up, press, back down, curl, back to center, press. Back down, curl, back to center, press. Okay, from the side. back down, curl, center, press. Down, curl, center, press. Obviously this is a bunch of moves in one. You can, if you want to concentrate on something, you can break it down, right? So if you want to really concentrate on the biceps, you can just do curls without a squat, right? You can do curls with a squat, okay? If you want to focus more on your shoulders, you can just do the overhead press. But I like this one because it's full body, it's a bunch of things in one. Form's super important. So once again, I'll show you my form. Watch my back and my shoulder blades. Down, curl, up, press. Let's see if I can do it in bad form. Down, curl, up. Right, don't do that. You want nice and strong. Strong back. Okay. Next one, this one's probably my favorite. This is the clean and press. So this one, form, this one's probably the most complicated, but form is super important with this one because you can really mess yourself up if you get the form wrong. But once you get the form, you want to go slow at the beginning and make sure you have really, really clean form because once you get it, it's pretty fun, in my opinion. So it's a lot of moves in one, just like the one we just did. So I'll just do it once I'll just do it all together to show you and then we'll break it down. So clean, press, back down, clean, press, back down. Switch sides, clean, press, back down, clean, press, back down. I really like that one. It makes me feel like a freaking beast. But you gotta do it right. So, let's see if I can explain this. The part that gets, so obviously, right, you wanna have a good squat, nice and clean, up and down, just like a piston. My shoulders are back, my chin is facing forward, right? I'm not slumping. So that's step one. But as you come up, you're doing something with your arm, right? So as you come up, you bring it up and rack it here on your shoulder. Now that's the part that can hurt people. It's one of the parts that can hurt people. A lot of people like to do like a swing and catch it, but you can smack your forearm if you do that. It's kind of fun if you can do it right. It takes a lot of finesse. But an easier way, I'll do it in slow motion, is to just kind of, whoa, that's hard with a 50-pounder to do it in slow motion, to kind of twist it like that, right? Little twist, so that way the whole thing is not swinging around and smacking you like a pendulum. So nice little twist, rack it. Now when you rack it, you want it to be close into your chest right here. If it's farther out, whoa, you start getting off balance, you could tweak your rotator cuff. So you want to keep it in here and kind of, it's caught right here on this V, right? It's not forward like that. I make a nice little nest for it between my bicep and my forearm. So it's caught right here. And then the press is just straight up to your center line. Okay, and if you have a heavier weight, you can do a little hop to get it up. Okay? And then back down to your nest, to your rack. I'm in close to my center line, right? I'm not out here. And then turning it over back down. Notice how my fist is facing outward. It's not like this. Okay? So we'll do the other side so I'm a little even. I'll show you again. You go down, twisting up and catching, close to my center line. Little hop, press right here. Once again, I'm not out wide like that. If you find it really hard to get a good balance at this top position, then go down in weight. It's too heavy. But if you're good, you can balance, then that's a good weight for you. Back down here, catch it, back down with the squat, right? It's a pretty complicated move now that I'm thinking about it. Center line, shoulders back, head up. Rack it, press, back down. Squat down, clean, press. 2 moves in one. This is called a clean, right? Some people just do a bunch of those. I don't like to do that. I like to do the press as well, okay? You could also, anyway, yeah. So do it slow a bunch of times. Make sure you have good form. This one could mess you up if you get form wrong. There's no real variations to it, I don't think. I guess you could do it with 2 weights. Go up with 2 weights, rack them both up here and do that. I haven't done that before, but that'd be fun. They'd have to be the same weight though. And then you could, if you want to, you could break it down to cleans. Right, that's one exercise, do that for 30 seconds. And then presses, do that for 30 seconds. But my preference is to do it all as one move, the clean and press, that's what it's called. Clean, press. Okay, so we've done 4 full body moves with the weight, and that's all I have for full body with the weight. There's a lot you can do without the weight, and what I like to do when I'm making my own workout is I like to do both with weight and both without weight. The without weight, I focus on doing things that are high intensity to get my cardio up, and then so I'll do for 30 seconds I'll do burpees, and then break for 10 seconds, and the next 30 seconds will be something with the weight. So if my heart rate is elevated after the burpees and my breathing rate is elevated, that makes the weight that much harder because you've got the cardio mixed in. But as far as full body without a weight, burpees are probably my favorite, and there's a lot of variations. So the basic one is you go back into a plank position, jump up, okay? Down, plank, up. Do this for 30 seconds, you'll be breathing really hard. And then there's a bunch of variations you can do. So one that I like to do with the kids, it makes them really mad because they hate it, is burpee with a tuck jump. So you go down, and when you jump, you hike your knees up. And that'll get your heart rate going like you won't believe. You can throw a push-up in there. Right? That's a good one for heart rate, but it's more strength. I find that if you don't do the push-up and you just focus on doing them fast, that's more cardio. You can do a jumping jack, right? That's another way. Lots of variations you can do. Our friend Stacy likes to do the turtle one, which is ridiculous, but you go down and then you go back and then you go, right? It's kind of silly, but what's another full body without a weight? Yeah, I guess to throw in cardio, you could do if you have a jump rope, you could throw in a jump rope. You could do high knees, right? High knees, high arms, jumping jacks, stuff like that. But burpees are my favorite. Okay, so I'll stop there for full body. Now we'll move into leg workouts, leg specifics. So a lot of squats, right? All the full body ones I told you, work your legs because they have the squat built in with them, but they're also working arms and core and everything like that. If you want to do leg specific, a good one is the Goblet Squat. Let me show you up close. You can hold your weight like this. Just grab it around the side of the handle, hold it right here in your chest, and squat like that. Personally, I like to spread my legs out a little bit wider for this one, because I just feel like that gets higher up on my quads and my glutes a little bit better. But you can play around with it, obviously. If we're talking about variations. Those are how you can vary it, is just by your stance. And what's that?
Oh, I was going to say, a big form thing with the squats is to think about like sitting back in a chair and not letting your knees go forward.
Yeah, so Annie's here. Annie's talking about form for squats. She says something to focus on, and we've kind of hammered the form in squat already, but if you can visualize yourself like sitting back in a chair and not letting your knees go forward, you're just shooting your butt back and keeping your chest over your heels, right? Notice how my shoulders are back. I'm not rounding like this, right? My back is arched and my chin is up. So that's called the goblet squat. I guess it's because you're like holding a goblet. Another one to isolate the legs is the rack lunge, right? So just like you would hold it, just like you're doing a clean, right? Catch it right here in this nice little cradle. Hold it right here and do lunges, right? Form is obviously important for these. My knees are as close to a 90-degree angle as I can get them. As I go down, trying to keep my back straight up and down. So you do that for 30 seconds, you switch sides. I guess it is a little bit of an arm workout because you're holding this up, but it's mostly isolating your legs. And there's not too many variations. Ed likes to do a silly one where you do a lunge with a pass through, but to me that's just dinking around it. I don't really feel like it like concentrates on your legs too much, but the kids like it, I guess. So what are you gonna do? Another one, so we talked about goblet squat, rack lunge. Another one is side lunge. I guess you could call it goblet side lunge because you're gonna hold it in the goblet hold and you're gonna lunge to the side like so. I don't have the best form. I don't know if you're supposed to go wide. I think this is pretty good. But notice how I'm keeping my center of gravity over the leg that is being exercised, right? So here I'm exercising my right leg, and I really feel the pressure on my right leg, really feel the pressure on my left leg here. Your passive leg, so in this one, I don't really feel like there's any weight on it, but I do feel like it's stretching my groin quite nicely. So this one I really feel the right, really feel the right, really feel the left. And then another one you can do is a calf raise. So this one is focusing on your calves, and you just hold it, right? You can hold it up here, or you can just hold it down here and go up on your toes and back down. This one is even better if, I'll be right back. This one is even better if you can, when you go down, when you go up and then go back down, if you can go down below sea level. So you need like a little stair step. I don't know if this is gonna work. I might flip it, yeah. Can you come stand on this? Don't wanna hit the baby. So if you go up, whoa, gotta get balance. Go up, and then notice how my heels sink below level. Back up, below level. And if you can't do this with a weight, because it takes a lot of balance, you can do it without the weight and like use your hands to put up against the wall or hold onto a handrail and go up and down like 30 times. Tell you what, if you haven't done that in a while, the next day your calves are gonna be sore, but it's a really good one. Okay, and that's it for legs. So we did goblet squat, rack lunge, side lunge, and calf raise. If you really want to focus on your tushy, I don't have one for this with a weight, but without a weight you can do fire hydrants, which is basically like you're peeing on a fire hydrant, right? Do that on one side, do that on the other side, right? You want to keep a nice 90-degree angle with your knee and go straight out. That'll really get your glute. And just like the calf raises, if you haven't done that in a while and you do 30 on each side, your butt is gonna hurt, but it'll be the good hurt. Okay, so that's legs. So we did full body, we did legs. Now we're gonna focus on our arms. With the weight. Chainsaw is the first one, also called rows. It's like you're starting a chainsaw. So you kind of stand in sort of a halfway lunge, you know, nice and relaxed. Some people like to go down all the way, but I don't think you need to because you're focusing on your arms, this one. And you go straight here and bring it up here, touch your wrist to your ribs and back down. Like that. Now, there are different ways you can do this, and there's different philosophies. Some people really like to put some English on it, and you see how I'm moving my shoulders and kind of getting my whole body into it. That's more in the spirit of what you normally do with kettlebells. The reason kettlebells, at least in my mind, are different than dumbbells is because dumbbells, you're really isolating muscles, right? Like this, I'm only using my bicep, right? The thing about kettlebells is they're like this wrecking ball, and you're swinging them around, and it's a lot more dynamic movements, and you're using kind of your whole body. So if you want to do it in the spirit of the kettlebell, then by all means, get some twists going, right? Obviously, you don't want to go crazy and tear anything, but you can move your shoulders a little bit. What I do, and I started doing this year, is when we do chainsaw, I try to not move, and I try to really isolate my bicep and only move my bicep without twisting at all. And I just started that because that's what I want to do, but you can do it either way. But for sure, if you want to make it a better workout, do a 1 second pause at the top, right? So let me show you. What most people will do is they'll do this, right? Okay, what I'm saying, pause, down, up, pause. Don't pause at the bottom, right? Pause at the top, right? So pump, pause, pump, pause, pump, pause. That'll make it that much better, and that's strengthening a different kind of muscle if you're able to get that 1 second hold in at the top. So that's chainsaw. I don't think you can mess up your form too much on the chainsaw. Obviously, you know, you're gonna be bent at the waist here. You don't want to hunch, right? Just like we talked about. You want to keep your back straight, nice and straight, tabletop, right? Keep your chin up like this. Shoulder blades are back, right? They're not. I mean, you're going down when you go down, but I don't think you can mess up the form too much. Just focus on your spinal alignment, I guess, is the big thing. So that was the first arm. That was chainsaw. The next one we can talk about is the skull crusher. This is another bicep, okay? Here's what you want to do. You want to hold your weight like this with the handle towards your chest, and you're kind of cradling it, just like you're holding a bowling ball, and you're gonna go up, back behind your head, and up. Okay, chainsaw, this one is gonna get your biceps. The farther back you can go, the harder it's gonna be to push up, so the better it's gonna work your triceps. And if you keep your elbows out wide, that's gonna make it easier for you, right? So if you want a better workout, keep your elbows close in together. Like that, okay?
And make sure you engage your abs
and he's saying make sure you engage your abs. So a common mistake that I make is I lean back too far, right? Just to help compensate. But if you can really tuck in your abs, right? Try and like make a six-pack while you're doing it. Suck in your gut. That's gonna keep better spinal alignment and better form. So that's the skull crusher. We talked about chainsaw skull crusher. Next one is around the world. This one, I don't know how useful it is, but it's kind of fun. So I'll throw it in there. Basically, you pass it behind your back, catch it up here at your shoulder, and push, and catch it up here at your other shoulder. You want to try and keep your center alignment, as least wobbly as possible. You can see my hips moving back and forth, but I'm trying to minimize that as much as I can. I'll show you from the side. I'm trying to keep straight up and down as much as I can. And that's I'm really feeling that in my core, actually, now that I think about it. See, that's a really good one for your core, shoulders, and your biceps. Not really good, but that's what it's exercising when you do that one. So that's the around the world. And the next two are going to be on the floor. So like I was saying, when you do the full body ones, you can take parts of those full body ones and turn them into an arm only exercise, right? So like the clean and press, that part right there is mostly legs, but this part right here is your arms, right? So the press, that's one that you can isolate if you really want to work on your arms for a day. You can just do overhead presses, right? Also with the squat curl press, right? This part, we've got legs. This part is biceps here. And this part is whatever that is, probably shoulders, right? So if you want to focus on arms, you can just focus on the bicep curls or the double overhead press, right? Or like I was saying, the single overhead press, that sort of thing. Or the high pull, right? That's arm. But those are all smaller parts of what I normally do full body. But for arms specific, we talked about chainsaw, skull crusher around the world. This one here is a bench press. So I hold it just like I do when I'm holding it for the skull crusher. And I just go straight up over my chest. When I usually do this with the kids, we throw in a 6-inch leg hold. Okay? That really engages your core. So you're killing two birds with one stone. So that is the bench press. And another one you can do from this position is the pullover. So I hold it the same way, and I keep my elbows straight, and I'm just rotating at the shoulders. I go back, but don't touch. I go forward, but don't touch. Okay, this is called the pullover. You can put your legs out straight if you want. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Okay, that's the pullover. So those are all the arm-specific ones I have with a weight. Obviously, there's ones you can do without a weight. My favorite of those, of course, is the push-up. So I like to throw in push-ups as like one round in between. And I actually find like the more you get used to the weight, push-ups are actually harder as you get stronger, because this is a 50-pound weight, but I weigh 200 pounds. So when I'm doing push-ups, it's actually a better workout. But there are ways you can vary the push-ups so that they're either harder or not as hard. So one thing that we'll do is we'll put our weight here. Screen went black. We'll put our weight here in between our feet, and this is called push-up with a belt touch. So you go down, touch the handle with one hand, touch the handle with your other hand. And in my opinion, that makes push-ups a little bit easier than just doing straight push-ups because you're breaking it up a little bit. Another one you can do is push-up with a rotation. Push-up with a rotation, reach to the sky. One that you can do to make it harder, if you want to make it harder, is Spider-Man push-up. So I don't know if you can see, as I go down, I bring my knee up, right? Like I'm climbing a skyscraper like Spider-Man. And that really engages your core. I don't know if you can see it better from the side. I hate this one. Spider-Man push-up. Or you can just do regular push-ups. Okay, out wide. That gets more of your back and shoulders. Or in close, that's more of a tricep. Or you can use the bell and do staggered push-ups, right? So like 5 on this side, switch over to this side. Stuff like that.
Some on the box, that's how to make it easier.
Oh, another way to modify it to make it easier is to elevate it a little bit. So if you have stair steps or something, right? I'm not pushing as much weight if I elevate it a little bit. Or you can modify by going on your knees and doing knee push-ups. Oh, I just remembered one more with the weight. This one is a concentration one, so it's really going to isolate a single muscle. This is called, I guess you could call it the shrug, but you're just moving your shoulder. And it seems simple enough, but if you do that for 30 seconds, it's really going to get sore, especially the first time you do it. You do it every day, it's not so bad, but that's really going to get your you're not going to be able to scratch your nose. You're going to have such a big neck if you do that one. So I like that one. And we don't do it as much as I wish we did. But that's a good one for shoulders and neck and kind of this back. I don't know what this is called, your deltoid or something. In between your shoulder blades, that muscle right there. Okay, so that's gonna be it for arms. We talked about chainsaw, skull crusher, around the world, the bench press, the pullover, a bunch of different kinds of push-ups, the shrug, and then any of the pieces of the full body workouts that you want to isolate, like the overhead press or the high pull or the curl. There's a lot you can do for arms, obviously. Okay, and then the last category is abs and lower back. So the lower back is called the deadlift. And especially if you're getting ready for fishing, I recommend you do this one every day. But you gotta be really careful and you gotta have really, really good form. This one and the clean and press, probably the ones you have to watch out for the most because they're the most potential that you can hurt yourself. And you really have to start out with a low weight and you don't wanna push it too hard because this is your lower back we're talking about and you can really overdo it. Especially at the beginning. But once you build it up, you can, this one, the deadlift, I can actually go up in weight with this one. So if I'm doing a 50-pound day, I can switch to a 65 just for this exercise, no problem, and then go back to the 50 for the next exercise. But you really want to be careful when you're starting out. So this one, basically a pretty simple maneuver. You are keeping your knees straight Well, you can bend them a little bit. I'll go from the side. You can bend them a little bit, but you're not bending them as you do the exercise. You're just hinging here at the waist. And you're going over and back up. Notice how my knees are not bent. Okay? If you're really worried about your lower back, you can do it without a weight to start. And just put your hands behind your head. These are called good mornings. Down and up. Notice how my knees are not bending, but my waist is. So this right here, this muscle, is what this is working. Now notice how my form is good, right? I'm not slumping over. Don't do that, okay? You want to have your shoulders back and your back arched, looking up, right? Don't look down. Your body will follow your head. Your body will follow your vision. So if you're looking forward, your back is going to be aligned the way it needs to be. If you're looking down, notice how as soon as I turn my neck down, my back slumps. So my shoulders are back, right? Form is super important on this one. You can really hurt yourself if you start to slump. Okay, but the deadlift is the deadlift is with a weight. Okay, so you're just holding it here. You're not doing anything with your arms. Slight bend at the knees, but you're not bending your knees. And my shoulders are back. My shoulders are not slumped, right? They're back as much. So deadlift, right? Like this, okay? Slight bend in the knees, but I'm not bending my knees. That's a squat. I'm just hinging at the waist. I'm keeping my back nice and straight like a tabletop, okay? There's really not a whole lot of ways you can modify this. One thing you can do, I would just focus on doing this perfectly for the first month. But if you feel good, you start going up in weight. Once you do this a couple times, like the first time you're gonna do it, your back's gonna be sore. Okay, but if you do it right, you're not gonna pull anything. But it is gonna be sore. You need to take a day off and then get back to it. Form. You need perfect form 100% of the time. Once you do it every other day for a week, and you stop being sore after you do it, then you can do it every day. And then after 2 weeks, I would say you can start going up in weight. And you want to go up in weight pretty consistently. And as you start getting stronger, you can probably start going up 5 pounds every 2 weeks or every week even if you feel good. So you're probably going to need to buy some more kettlebells pretty soon with this one. But this is important, especially in getting in shape for fishing. I did this a lot with Paul Clay right before we went fishing, and then the first day out on the bay picking fish, my back was still sore. So it definitely helps, but it's still your back is the most important thing when you're out there fishing for sure. So strengthen that back. If you get pretty far along with this and you're feeling comfortable up at 40 pounds or something like that, you can throw in a little alteration. You can do staggered stance, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. That just, right, good form again, obviously, but that kind of just isolates one side, and this will isolate the other side, right, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's the deadlift. Okay, so very important one to do. Another one you can do is the side bend. That one is pretty simple. I like to go a little bit closer than shoulder width apart with my stance, and you're just going to the side and back up, and you should feel that right here. Okay, to be honest, I do not like this one because I never can really feel it. I can feel it a little bit if I go sumo stance, right, wider than my shoulders, and I touch the bell to the inside of my ankle, and I can feel it even more if I put my hand up like this. Then I can kind of feel it right here, and then in my inside groin. I can kind of feel it like that. But some people, like everybody, I don't know what my problem is. Everybody else can feel it if they do this. So as long as you feel it right here, that means you're doing it right. I don't know, maybe my body is just built weird for this one. But this is the side bend, like that. So that was back and side, and everything else is abs. And I do not like to do abs with the weight. I feel like I can do abs pretty well without a weight, and I'm kind of worried about like getting a hernia. So I recommend doing all your abs without a weight. And there's tons of abs. I'm probably gonna forget most of them. But we'll just go through them real quick, I guess. The ones that I can remember. There are crunches. Obviously, you can go like this with your hands behind your head, but the tendency is to use your arms to pull your head up, and then you're taking away from your abs. So just make sure you're lifting from your chest, not your head. Right, so that's a good one. You can do the twist. I really like this one because I feel like this one makes up for whatever I'm screwing up when I do the side bends, because I can really feel this in like my side abs. So crunch with a twist, crunch with a twist, crunch with a twist. Another one you can do is bicycle, right? So you're pumping and I'm twisting, touching my opposite elbow with my opposite knee. If you're up like this on your butt, I feel like it's a better workout, but sometimes we throw this in like right at the end of an ab burner and I'm just too tired, so I go back on my back, and that's fine too. But if you want a better workout, go up here and lean back as far as you can without falling. That'll really get your lower abs. Another one you can do is heel touches. So put your heels on the ground and you just touch left, touch right. I freaking hate this one because my back gets sticky and the skin on my back will roll and fold over. It just feels really weird. So I don't like this one, but if you don't have that problem, it's a good one. Another one is cherry pickers. You cross your feet and you touch left, touch right, touch left, touch right, touch left, touch right. That's a good one. Another one is reverse crunch. So this one is a balance one and it takes a few times to get good at. But it's a really good one because you're balancing, so it's engaging a lot of your core. But right, I'm balancing right on my butt, and I never put my feet down, right? So I go out, and I go in, draw my knees up to my chest, and back out. So notice my torso is going out as my legs go out, and then both are coming in, okay? Just like I was talking about with the chainsaw, if you do like a 1 second pause, and then in and pause, and then in and pause, I find that to be a much better workout. What else? There's so many. Starfish. This one's really hard. Spread eagle, but I'm not touching. And then I go up and touch in the center. I try and keep my arms and my legs as straight as I can. Obviously, I have to bend my knees a little bit. And then you go back out, but don't touch, and then back up. And this one's really hard, so I recommend not starting out with this one, but throw it in once you start doing this for a couple weeks. Another one you can do is butt-ups. Put your hands under your butt here, and you're gonna go out, and then in, and then up, and then lift, and then back down, right? So all together it's out, and then up, out, and up. And the higher you can go, the more of a workout that is. Those are called butt-ups. Plank. That's just a hold in the push-up position, and you just hold, right? Hold for like 30 seconds. You can also do it down here on your elbows. I don't think one is harder than the other. I tend to go up here because we usually do abs at the very end and I'm super sweaty. So if I'm down here, I'm like sliding all over the place. But yeah, this is plank. Some people like to throw in a twist, like a little hip twist, like plank with a twist. Ba-doop, 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 hip dip, dip the chip.
Or punches.
Or you can do punches.
You're supposed to keep your hips still.
Yeah, I tend to move my hips back and forth, but the stiller you can keep them better. You can do like toe taps, or you can do jacks. What else for abs? Annie knows a lot of abs because she does video workouts and they do really creative things, but I'm just doing kind of the simple floor exercises. If you really want to throw in some cardio with your abs, you can do tuck jumps. So I talked about this a little bit before with the burpees, but if you really want to get your heart rate going, and I got to get my tilt here good and get some abs going, do tuck jumps and really focus on lifting your legs up with your core muscles, right? So less like leg jumping and more just like boop, boop, right? Like, see if I can, like that. And obviously if you do that for longer, you'll just be at the end. So
I would say twisted abs would be down from that.
okay, so
with the weight.
Okay, so one you could do with a weight is twisted abs. I've never done this, but you hold it with like the goblet and you lift your knee and you twist and you twist. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right?
Yep.
So that's one you can do with the weight. One we do sometimes with the weight is Russian twists. I don't like to do them with a weight because I really feel like I'm about to have a hernia. But if you want to do it with the weight, you hold it like a goblet. I'll go sideways. And you're balancing on your butt. You cross your ankles. And you touch side, touch side. This. I never do this with a weight. I just do it with my little praying hands. And just do it fast. This is called Russian twist. That's a good one, actually.
You can touch your feet down to make it easier.
No, you gotta keep your feet up. It's all about the balance. So yeah, that's all I got for you. What I'll try and do is timestamp this so you can know exactly where the specific directions for a specific workout are, and then I'll send you some pre-made workouts that you can do. So yeah, happy weightlifting. Hope you can talk mom into it as well. So after a workout, the best thing that I have found is to hydrate with electrolytes. I get pretty sweaty, and obviously when you sweat, if it goes in your mouth, you taste it, it's a little bit salty. That's because you're sweating out electrolytes. And what I used to do is just drink a whole bunch of water. But I discovered this trick that I'm about to show you when I was running my first winter marathon. I wore a whole bunch of layers because I didn't know what to expect. And so I had long johns and a bunch of stuff on. I had to shed a bunch of layers, but before that, I ended up sweating a lot. And I packed water with me in my little running backpack. And it was weird because it was wintertime and whatnot, but I had sweated so much that when I drank the water, I had to drink a lot to rehydrate, and it felt really crappy when I drank it. It just kind of sat in my stomach, and it felt like it didn't get redistributed where it needed to go, and it was just kind of this sloshy mass of water in my stomach, and it was cold, and I felt like I wanted to throw it up. I don't know if you've ever felt like that before. And so I ended up having to finish the marathon completely dehydrated. And I got done, and I was so dehydrated, but I couldn't drink any water. So I Googled how to make electrolytes because I knew that that's what I was missing. And I found this recipe. It wasn't this recipe that I'm about to show you, but through a couple of years of tweaking it and figuring it out and doing a little bit more research, I kind of narrowed it down to the basic ingredients that you need. And the funny thing is if you buy any electrolytes like at Sportsman's Warehouse or REI or anything like that, and you look in the ingredients, it's going to be exactly this, plus a little bit extra fluff, like some vitamins and some flavoring and some sugar, which you don't need. Vitamins are kind of nice, but the main ingredients are sodium, potassium, and lemon juice. So I have a 12-ounce glass. This is the one I like to use. If you have a bigger glass, you gotta do the math a little bit. But I take a 1/4 teaspoon of this salt. This is just basic sodium chloride. I use pink Himalayan sea salt because it's got some trace minerals in it, but you can use any kind of salt. This is just the best of the best. Take a 1/4 teaspoon of that. This right here is salt substitute, just like on What About Bob. But the reason why I use this is because if you look here under the ingredients, what it is potassium chloride. Okay, so this is sodium chloride, this is potassium chloride, which your body needs if you read about the potassium pump in your cells and whatnot. So I do the same amount of that, a 1/4 teaspoon, throw it in my cup, and then I do a splash of lemon juice. And I believe the citric acid helps absorption. It also tastes a little bit better if you have a splash of that. So that's it. A 1/4 teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt, 1/4 teaspoon of potassium chloride. You can get this stuff. There's also a brand called Salt Free. It's basically a salt substitute, and you just need to make sure that it's potassium chloride. And some lemon juice. Mix it up. I've gotten to where I just swirl it around and run the water slow, and it usually mixes in pretty good. And you can literally feel this go into your mouth and straight into your bloodstream because it's got the right balance of it's basically saline solution. It's the same thing that's going to be in an IV bag. And after a workout, you're dehydrated, your muscles are depleted, and you drink this and it fills your muscles up and rehydrates you. So this is my favorite way to end a workout. Straight down the hatch. Wait a little bit. I'm gonna jump after about 5 minutes. If I start jumping up and down, it's not even gonna be sloshing in there because it goes straight into the bloodstream. So I usually drink 2 of these. This is I drink 2 of these in the morning before I do anything actually, and then after I work out, and it's a great way to rehydrate. So I'm probably gonna do another one of these and then take a shower.